Apparently I woke up and um, earlier on today, and I still didn't feel well. Um, I actually felt um, a bit hot. Um, so I ran to the toilet to do my thing, and then I actually felt hotter. And then and then I had the urge that I was going to be sick, so I ran to my bowl, and nothing came out. Um, and I was wondering why this is happening, why I'm getting a 2 day sick bug. It is weird. Um, and then I had to get checked by my mom. Um, she checked my temperature. Um, Apparently, my body temperature seemed to be fine. But my ear temperature seemed to be low. Um, Apparently. Uh, then she tried my high blood pressure to see what it was like. But knowing high blood pressures, they usually go high when I'm bad or ill or whatever. Usually, because she didn't say it was like sort of high on one side and then the left side it wasn't that high. I think it was basically a way to, my body basically telling me that, yeah, you're ill. That's why your blood pressure's higher. Because of that. So so apparently my mom is considering on seeing a pharmacist to check what's actually going on with me. So um, it's one thing to consider, to make sure I'm fine, that I'm feeling well or whatever. Now, the funny thing is, I don't know if I'm well enough. Tomorrow, the day after that, I probably might be, I think. Probably most likely, I think. Probably might be better tomorrow or something. Which could be a good thing for me. So, I think the fresh air might be doing me good. Now, the one thing that I was asking my mom about, because it was day 2 and I still fell off, I was asking about the coronavirus test thing that you can get, to see if you have it. And the funny thing is, you can't find it. And I was like, oh, great. Yeah, that's one way if I was able to know if I actually had it or not. Because usually symptoms, in it, apparently, usually, it's weird because you usually don't get sickness if you get like, a temperature as well. You don't usually get that or whatever, or your body just fully hot in a way. Usually don't get that often. It's rare. 2 days of it is even rarer. Which has me concerns that the corona could have like, maybe an airborne. Maybe it's airborne. That's what I'm starting to think. Maybe that's why I got ill. Um, that's my one concern. So at the moment, I'm not entirely sure. Apparently, what's going on with my body right now. So, um, apparently, if I do get checked up and whatever, to see what's going on and such, and why I felt ill for 2 days, or possibly more, depending on if I get well during those days. So, for the time being, I've been eating nothing but cereal, and and basically I had toast yesterday. That's all I had. So I just had cereal today. Apparently I did miss Shrove Tuesday because of me feeling ill. So, which is one. So apparently I still have this. Now apparently what this does is, use it for your head mainly. that it usually tells what your temperature is. Now, apparently, my temperature is usually low, because my body is sort of different to temperatures. Yeah, so... Oh wait, that didn't go off. Yeah, so mine says 36.0 on mine at the moment. It's not that bad. It's when it gets higher than that, it's usually bad. So my body temperature seems to be fine at the moment. So I'd have to check that every day to show that I'm feeling well. So there's possibly a lot I have to check because 2 days is a bit weird for me getting ill with a sick bug 2 days in a row. The only time I felt sick 2 days in a row before is when I was in the hospital once because I was diagnosed with epilepsy. That was the only time I threw up because of the medication I was taking, but it's weirder as of right now because I don't actually do it at home. Apparently, it's like very, very rare to have a sick bug that lasts up to 2 days. And it's funny because I never throw up on that basically today, so it's even weirder. So apparently I am hoping that I can go back to my normal food eventually once this ends, hopefully. Maybe the doctors can also tell me if there's anything wrong or something, or just saying, oh, you were just possibly ill or something like that. I could have had something serious or whatever, something. Because there's a number of things it could have been. There's a number of symptoms that actually could have been to do with what I had. Because usually when I get the sick bug, I usually get like a migraine. Meaning I usually get like a headache, but a temperature is even weirder. Because I usually don't get it with a sick bug. It's weird. It's like very, very weird because yesterday I did have a temperature. I took a pill for it, and then later on during that day it went down. So I actually apparently actually had lost that, and then I threw up. And basically after all of that, and then I basically made a video considering that it looked like all fine then. But then eventually I felt ill again. So it made me sleep more. So then today like I said, I woke up feeling ill. Didn't feel that well. Which made me sleep more again. Because I didn't feel right. So I had to put the fan on, sleep with that a couple more times to cool me down. Had to sleep with the covers off because I still didn't feel right. And sleeping without the covers actually helps me more. So that's what I did. A couple of times I was aware that I was going to throw up. Basically, like I said, like I was going to the toilet water, and I felt the urge to be sick. Yeah, I basically tried to, but couldn't, and I still felt hot, and that's what had me worried. So after a long talk with my mom, I eventually talked about having ice cream because the reason I mentioned ice cream was because ice cream usually helps with your body temperature. It usually puts it down because it's that cold. And it usually helps, like, if you're not actually feeling very well. Now, apparently, my mom thinks that I probably might have diabetes, and then I just basically regret against it and said, well, I can't because of epilepsy, haven't I? Because epilepsy is to do with the brain and such, and diabetes is to do with low sugar. So I can't have both because then it'd be called something else. If it was both, meaning it wouldn't be epilepsy anymore and it wouldn't be diabetes anymore, it'd be completely something else. I regret against that because of that. And I was saying, well, how can it if okay with sugar levels? So apparently I got her on that one. And then she mentioned high blood pressure. Checked everything. Apparently, she said that my blood pressure certainly was high, but and then I said that's probably because I was ill. So that was the reason for that. And then she checked my ear. It was low, which isn't normal. Uh, so again, I told her because I was ill. So that's one. So it actually is horrible when you get that sort of symptoms and you just can't help around it or whatever, and you still feel terrible. Because I did. I was constantly talking to my mom about the whole issue, and then she said to see a doctor or pharmacist or whatever. Basically, I'd have to see the closest medical area and see if they can like do anything, like to test if I'm feeling okay and such. And if it looks any bad, I'd probably have to see a doctor to have a look at the things that I'm having to check if I'm all right and such. So it's all because usually it is best to check to check to see if what's the problem, how to fix it, and apparently my mom was thinking of an appointment for Friday or Saturday, and I said, "What about Thursday?" Because and then she said she can't because she's doing something that day, and I was like, "Well, get somebody else to do it." Because she even asked if I would go by bus, and I said no because that's more risky. Because feeling ill and going on a bus is a high risk, which I do not want to go through. So apparently my nana and my grandma will probably have to take me to get checked to make sure I'm well and such and I don't have any problems. So when I actually have had my appointment to be checked, since I'm actually due to be checked, so once they basically check on me and whatever, and say what's happened and such, and they give out my details of me acting weird in certain positions, uh, so once I've had that whole appointment or whatever, and say I feel fine that day or whatever, then I probably might stream a game. But if I'm not okay, then I might have to wait a bit longer or something like that. I mean, it depends on how I'm feeling. So as soon as I'm actually feeling 100% better, I will stream. Depending on when I do feel better. So yeah.